Hey everyone, this is Original Samson. This is Second Galaxy um, tips and tricks and some strategy and some gameplay. I'm going to cover some of the basics for new players, hopefully before you get in, so that you can make some educated choices and have an understanding about what you're picking. This is the character selection screen after you started the game or downloaded the game, after you put an email address, but before you've actually entered. And this is an important screen as a lot of players have been second guessing or been kind of bummed out about what they've chosen because they either didn't know or wish they would have chosen something else. Everything on this screen that's chosen is a one and done. You will not be able to come back in here and change these items. So it's kind of important. Some have more implications than others, but I'm going to cover here. On the left-hand side here, on my screen, you'll see 5 faction types. The 5th faction, which is USSH, is locked and not available for anybody right now, so that's not a choice. But you have 4 others. And these in-game are abbreviated, so this top one is listed as NEF in-game. That's what you'll see it as. The next one is ECD, followed by OE and RS. The biggest meta things right now that people need to know about is that ECD and RS at this point have maybe the best meta battleships. So if the battleship part of the game is really important to you and you want to just be in line with that faction from the get-go, you're going to want to narrow it down to one of these two for these battleships. That does not mean that NEF or OE are weaker, as a faction, and it's just based on credit meta. When you pick one of these factions, you're also selecting a type of gameplay based on the weaponry that you get bonuses on. It does not mean you have to stay with that. The biggest difference, or maybe the pro to do that, is because as you level and increase on those ships that you're using in the factions, you get the bonus that's based on that faction. However, if you're using something different on a ship, you're not just receiving that extra bonus. So near mid and end game, that can become very important and much more noticeable. However, each faction has the different types of weaponry. So it's not like you can't use them and play with them, but it does make a difference. For OE, it is lasers. For RS, it is railguns. For ECD, it is blasters, and for NEF, it is missiles. So if that type of weaponry matters to you, then you should go based on that as well, to make sure that you can utilize that type of play. So once you pick one of these, you're going to see kind of the characters changing and their names here adjusting. The second part of this that you should then consider is, it's pretty simple here, is basically which gender and then which image of 4. That's what you get, okay? So each one has their own kind of look and feel. This is only for your character profile. It does nothing else. It is purely cosmetic. Once you pick an image with your faction, you get a name here. And for some reason, a lot of people are not thinking they can do anything with this. I guess they're hitting the refresh option and trying to get the best thing they can come up with. You actually can change this to anything you want. And that way, that'll be your name, okay? There is limitations on characters and things like that, but you can set this, and that's your name. This cannot be changed as well, so make sure you like your name before you finalize it. The last piece on the top right here is your career mode. Now, this has less implications than anything else on this page, considering for the faction side. So you have a soldier, and if you click and drag or use your finger on the mobile and you come down here to the traits, it kind of explains what it does. And what all this is the default attributes that are being provided. If you pick soldier, it's going to put the most of them in, the majority of them in here, and then spread out the rest here. So for weapons, for the soldier, it's weapons. Okay, you're going to get higher weapons, which goes towards damage. If you choose scientist, you're going to have a better shield defense, and you get some extra traits for electronics and building. I mean, sorry, not electronics, for building out your modules. Excuse me. If you pick engineer, this benefits your electronics. Um, it makes it so that you have a higher energy on your ships by default. And then the last one, explorer. This is your velocity speed enhancement. So this makes your ships faster to move by default. So this isn't as critical. And if you pick the wrong one or you're already in the game, you don't need to freak out or be like make a whole new character just because you messed it up. It just provides you a default amount of points like everybody else. You get the same one no matter what, but it's just how it's placed. There, as you level up, you're gonna get more attributes, 4 per or level up, and you're gonna be able to place them wherever you want. So if you picked scientist and you decide you want to put more in weaponry, when you get your level up points, attribute points, just load them in there. It's not a big deal, and you can go from there. Now, if you are super just, I screwed up. I've been playing for a little bit. I've been putting in all the wrong things. There is a device in game that you can purchase via in-game currencies that you can purchase, and basically what it'll do is it'll reset the entire attributes to 0 and let you place all your current attributes that you have. You don't lose any, but it'll let you place them how you want. There's some pros and cons to doing that, because it does affect, if you don't put any in these, it does make these things worse or slower or whatever, whatever you're not putting them in. So there is some kind of balance that you want to make sure, but that's how it works. And then when you're in the game, if you can see the screen here, when you get attributes, they'll show up here and you can use them, and then you'll have these groups to put them into. So you'll hit, when you have like typically 4 points, you'll just hit the plus sign and it'll ask you and show you how many points you have in each of these and where you want to put them. But these are the correlations to these up here. So soldier, weapon, scientist. Let me go back to my screen. Is defense. The engineer is electronics, and the explorer is the ship piloting. So I hope that helps a little bit understanding this. But once you get in this, once you get past this screen, a lot of more things. We're going to cover a lot more things in different videos. Just want to make sure that this one got covered, because this has been a big discussion point within Reddit, within the chat channels in game. There's just a lot of people like, why? What? I wish I knew. Things like that. So we'll cover each faction with what ships they offer, and then we'll cover other things in games on other videos. Thanks for watching, and please like if you like it, and subscribe if you want to be watching more videos. Thanks.